Hey there, creative friends. Today, we're drawing a super cute 3D boba tea with a panda bear head. I'll guide you step by step to make it look round and three-dimensional. So, I'm doing a bit of a color gradation here. I'm going pink purple to blue to green. And I did tint it as well, so I added white to the color mix. You can do any color gradation you'd like. So we have two dots, and now I'm curving a line down. And the lip of this cup looks a little bit like a hot dog shape, doesn't it? Now I'm going to just try to match that curve down the best I can.
Nice.
So our two lines down. We're going to do another line that curves down. So one of the things that really makes this appear to be more three-dimensional is we're using forms. We're creating the cylinder, and this cup has a little bit of overlapping as well. So I made two dots. It gave me a point to draw to. So those two dots determine the width of the bottom of the cup. We're going to add one more little layer to the base of the cup here. And you can see all of those lines are matching that curve down. His or her little paws are going over the edge of the cup. We'll make another little mark. So, as you know, proportions is size relationships in a drawing. I want to make sure that I drew this head the right size. So that little dot was a point for me to draw to. Once again, I'm going to do the same thing with the ears. I'm going to make two marks. And it gives me a point of reference to draw to make sure I get the size of the ears where I want them to be. So when you're building with basic shapes, you need to pay attention to the size relationships in your drawing, and that is called proportions. I'm using a circle template. Obviously, you could just freehand draw this, but these do come in candy, so you can see with my kawaii style eyes, they're dialed in and very crisp, clean. It's one of the most important parts of these characters, right? It adds just that layer of cuteness to the character. Makes them look so adorable. It's a little bit of a focal point, right? So now we're going to go ahead and we're working on the marking around the eye. So you should check out the Acrylic on Canvas playlist. I have tons of kawaii style characters, and I'm continuing to add to those. I have some lava lamp characters, skateboarding dinosaurs, ice cream unicorns, and I even have some cool landscape paintings as well. And like I said, I'm continuing to add to the mix, and you can make a request if you want in the comment section. What do you want me to paint next in the Acrylic on Canvas series? This is our first color mix. You can see I have our color palette here. So I'm adding just a little bit of yellow to the white. Small amount. So if you go back and pause it, I just picked up a very small amount of yellow. And this is going to be the base color of the panda bear. I'm using golden fluid acrylic paint. And they have a really cool virtual color mixer on their website. So you can actually match colors, and it might help you out. The paints are a little spendy in comparison to craft paints. Obviously, craft paints, you can get them for $1 for a bottle. If you're using craft paint, I would recommend buying some Floetrol. And you'd want the Floetrol for latex or acrylic paint. And you could actually achieve the same viscosity as fluid acrylics. So as you know, if you add water to acrylic paint, it waters it down, it makes it like watercolor. So Floetrol is needed to sort of like I said, thin the paint out without diluting it and making it transparent. So you can see I added a little bit of red to the black, small amount of white. You guys see my hand? It's covered in red paint. So just that little bit of red, you can see it just breaks it up. So, and that's the great thing about these kawaii style characters is these wonderful colorful outlines. I'll show you that today. So I will be using Posca paint markers later on. And if you don't have Posca markers, obviously you could just use your paintbrush or any acrylic paint marker that you have. And you can see, look at that contrast. That's one of the cool things about panda bears, right? So contrast is when artists use opposite things together to make their artwork readable. So for instance, the opposite of white is black. Black words on a white piece of paper are readable. So for instance, selecting your background color. That's obviously a choice that you're obviously, most artists are thinking about using contrast. Contrasting color when you're selecting your background color. So this is going to be blue and violet mixed together with, and I'm just putting a little bit of that into the white, and it's creating these little shadows on the lip of the cup here. We're also going to add a little bit of shading into the bottom part of the head of this panda bear. And then once I get that down, you can see how light it is. I'm going to start blending it in. So this paint is still wet. And that's the cool thing about acrylic paint is you can still mix it on the canvas when it's still wet. So you have an option. Do you want to color mix on your canvas? Or you can actually let the paint dry and then you can paint over the top of it and it won't mix. So you can actually paint in layers. Alright, so here's the orange, and I'm actually going to have a little bit of yellow in there as well. So I'm putting a little bit of that orange into the yellow, small amount. And now I'm mixing that into the white. Now I really dig this paint tray, and I highly recommend it because you can see the circular palette kind of holds the color, and then on the rectangular side, you can have your gradation of value with your white. So when you notice when I mixed in, I added just a little bit of that yellow orange into the white to make the lighter color. And so that rectangular side of the tray allows you to create value, right? So you can paint. So this is the darker. So I'm adding a little bit more of that mix into the white paint. And I like to use 3 values. 3 values, you can see, really adds a lot of depth and dimension to your artwork. Makes it look 3-dimensional, and it's simplified for beginners. A lot of my students, they like to stick with just one color, and then I introduce them to this concept, and now they love using colors values. So look at that. Blending it in, having a nice little gradation of value there. And I'll do the same thing with this purple in the eyes. So I'm going to start off with light purple, medium purple, dark purple. I believe I got that color palette at Hobby Lobby, and I would assume you could probably get something like that on Amazon. But like I said, the cool thing about the rectangular side of the tray is you can have your 3 values, right? And you just put a little bit of the color into the white, and you have that light value, and then you just add in your rectangular tray a little bit more, and you can achieve those 3 values. You'll notice I have different brush sizes that help me out here. So for the detailed areas, I'm using a smaller brush. Here goes some of that same light purple that we mixed for the shadows. So add a little bit of that onto the ear. I love to paint. It is so much fun, so relaxing. And I think that's why I love the acrylic on canvas videos so much. As I hope you can enjoy these tutorials. So these little circle tools are awesome. You can see the little pearls that I'm drawing for the boba tea. Helps out. Obviously, you can just freehand draw those. And I'm using variety, different sizes. Size is another way artists create space. So if you think about a landscape, right? Foreground, middle ground, background, objects that are closest are bigger. Often they're smaller. And there goes that same color mix we did for the ears. That's the mix where you have black with a little bit of red. Small amount of white into it. Okay, so here's the outlining. And I'm going to be using different colors. So this is a red violet I'm outlining with. And you'll notice that with these kawaii style characters, oftentimes they have colorful outlining. This is ivory, which is a light yellow. And this is going to make this cup look a little bit like it's backlit, so the lighting's coming from behind it. Now, if you don't have a marker, you can always use a paintbrush. And you've got to use your brush just like you'd use a marker. So that means keep the brush down on the canvas and just draw lines with your paintbrush. Try to not keep lifting up and lifting up and lifting up. If you kept doing that with a marker, you'd have a really sloppy outline. So this is the red violet on the left side. And I'm going to go the purple or the violet on the right hand side. Black for the bottom. And then I'm going to go back and blend these colors for the outline here. Here's the white. Now, Michaels, you can buy Posca markers individually, but some markers you can't buy individually. So they have a bunch of different sets. So they have their 15 pack, they have their pastels, they have their warm and cool set, and I believe they have their skin tones palettes. So this is Robin Green, and then I use the white Posca paint marker to lighten it, and then I'm going to go back and make this darker. So it's the same concept of, hey, I'm going to go in with a lighter value first, and then I'm going to make it a little bit darker, building up my value. Adding some highlights now. Highlights are very important. So these little white dots on these pearls. I have a little bit of a navy blue color that I'm going into the bottom of these circles. And we're going to add a little heart. Add another little layer of cuteness to this adorable panda bear. Get those rosy cheeks. I'm going to use that color for the tongue as well. Then I'm going to go back in with the red violet for the darker part of the mouth. And go in with that black marker, do a little bit of outlining around the nose and the mouth. And now I'm going to go ahead and outline around the circle around the eye. And like I said, I'm taking my time on this because the eyes are a focal point. Now I'm going with the black marker, building up the black on the upper part of the eye. This is looking so cool. Alright, so we're going to add a little bit of a white outline around the ear. And like I said, our character's backlit, so the light is behind the character. And now I'm going to go ahead and outline with black. Kind of re-add those little white dots in there. Kind of smudged them a little bit earlier. So just a little touch up. So this is pink, light pink, excuse me, drawing some hearts. And you can see this is going to spice up the background and add that kawaii charm. So I'm going to see, I'm filling these in. Then I'm going to go in with just the regular white to tint it at the top. So we're creating value. So there goes, I've got my two values, now here's my third with the pink. Doing a little bit of blending. Blending with the markers. I'm going to go back with that fuchsia, get that darker outline. And when you do these stars, you're just going to do a plus sign, basically with the white marker, and then you're going to start curving the inner part of those, where those lines intersect. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for painting with me today. I hope you had a blast. If you love these acrylic tutorials, check out my playlist, my acrylic on canvas playlist. Also, I have a whole series on drawing with Posca paint markers. I'm going to leave that here in the end as well. So check out those two playlists, and we'll see you in the next video.